Do you still believe the BRICS currency has a chance against the dollar? After hearing my arguments in the next 2 minutes, I guarantee that you'll no longer believe in the potential of the BRICS currency. This person said I didn't elaborate or explain anything in my last video about the BRICS, and they have a point. So here's more detail. A reserve currency has to be held in large quantities by governments around the world. It's basically like their savings. So to understand what qualities are important, think about the qualities you'd want in a bank that holds your savings. You'd want it to be stable, right? It's the same for a reserve currency. If countries are going to hold a bunch of your currency or your debt as a reserve, they don't want it swinging around a bunch or losing a lot of value.
We're all going to be rich!
We broke even!
You'd also want to be able to access it at any time, right? And use it to buy whatever you wanted. Countries also want to be able to access their reserves whenever they need them and use them for whatever they need to buy. India, Brazil, South Africa, and Russia's currencies are not stable enough. All of them have been volatile and fairly consistently lost value against the dollar in the last 5 years. These charts show, for example, that one Indian rupee is worth only 1.2 cents. Not $1.2, 1.2 cents. The Chinese yuan has been pretty stable, but that's because they have extremely strict capital controls in place to keep it that way, which is why the yuan fails the liquidity test. You can't get your money out when you need it. None of those currencies are freely convertible into most others either. So if they combined efforts, will this solve anything? No, not really, because it's not about how many resources or people they have, or how big their combined economy would be. It's about whether other countries would want to hold a lot of that currency as a reserve. All of that uncertainty from the individual currencies would transfer over, because that's what would be backing the new currency. The BRICS countries don't have a common central bank, a common fiscal policy, or even a free trade agreement between them. So the only way I could see this working is like the IMF's special drawing right, SDR, which is a reserve asset that was created in 1969. Why was it created? To reduce the world's dependence on the dollar. You haven't even heard of it because it obviously never challenged the dollar. It's made up of the US dollar, euro, British pound, Japanese yen, and Chinese renminbi, all stable currencies, and it's essentially given out to help developing countries with their finances. There are also only about $900 billion worth of SDR out there, which is tiny given that it's been funded over the course of 60 years by strong economies. It would take way more of the BRICS currency than that to replace the dollar's role in the global financial system. Where do you think all that funding is going to come from? They simply don't have the money to pull that off. If they create a BRICS currency, governments who are a part of it could certainly use it for some of their trade with each other, just like China and Brazil have agreed to do with the UN and the Hai. But it will definitely not be a threat to the dollar status as a global reserve currency anytime soon, because it would not be stable enough, it would not be liquid enough, it would not be freely convertible enough, and they could never issue enough of it.